Hey everybody, welcome back to Tech Odyssey. So today I'm here to talk about the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3 and why you might not like it. Now, I don't mean that from a hardware perspective, I don't mean that from a performance perspective. It's almost entirely down to ergonomics, and that is because even though this is the third generation of the phone, it's still bulky, it's still heavy, and it's still something that a lot of people probably aren't going to wrap their hands around. They're not going to enjoy it that much because of those reasons. I've had lots of people that have left comments, they've talked to me, they said, hey, I ended up getting rid of this, and I decided to opt for the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 3 instead because it's much more manageable, it's more practical, and it resembles more of a normal phone. It's more fun, it's enjoyable, and that's not to ding the Z Fold 3. The Z Fold 3 is exactly what it is. It's a phone that can also be a tablet. Unfortunately, it doesn't do everything in the best way. It's not the most efficient. It's bulky, it's cumbersome. Whenever you're using it closed, the screen is still kind of difficult to use for a lot of different things. And that's going to turn some people off. And that's what I want to talk about in this video. But before we get into that, I do want to say if this is your first time stopping by the channel, thank you for being here. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. Now let's talk about the Z Fold 3. So I recognize there's quite a few people out there who are absolutely in love with the Z Fold 3. You're probably watching this video on your Z Fold 3, so this video doesn't apply to you. This video is for those of you who are out there who are on the fence about it, who are curious about it, who are trying to get as much information on the goods, the pros, and the cons as you can. This right here is probably the biggest drawback for the entire phone. I mean, who doesn't want a phone that can also be a tablet? In theory, it's a really cool thing. You get a phone that also works as a tablet. That's nice. You get like the best of both worlds. I even made a video saying that mine has replaced my Tab S7 Plus. I haven't touched my Tab S7 Plus since I got this. Why? Because you've got the Z Fold, and then you can also buy the stylus to go with it. So I get all the tablet functionality I want in a smaller form factor. And that to me is a win. A tablet but smaller is great. A phone that's super big like a tablet, it has some drawbacks. One, whenever you have it like this, it's kind of bulky. Like whenever you take a look at it compared to a normal phone, like here's a normal phone, and then you have this guy right here. It's basically two phones stacked on top of each other, which is effectively what it is. The phone itself folds in on itself, hence the fold. See, it's not that bad like this. It's actually pretty much like a normal device, maybe even thinner in some circumstances. And then you go like this, and then it's more dense because it covers less surface area, and yeah, it's not the lightest thing in the world. It's basically the heaviest phone that's out on the market, at least this year. I mean, it's slightly lighter than the Z Fold 2 last year, but that's kind of off-putting for some people. If you've got really big hands and you've got really big pockets, it may not be a big concern, but for normal people like you and me, carrying this around and trying to use it, there are a lot of compromises, and the biggest compromise is trying to use this small screen. Now, it's not just a notification screen. It's not like the Z Flip 3 where it's like, hey, let me just tap on the front screen and I can get my notifications real quick. This is fully functional. I can fire up whatever I want and use it completely on this screen, and it's even 120 hertz now, which is super nice. Nice and smooth and all that great stuff, but whatever you're trying to type on it, the honeymoon wears off real quick whenever you're trying to type a message on this in a hurry. It doesn't work particularly well with swipe typing either. So if you're trying to swipe type, if you think that that's going to be better than typing normally, in a lot of situations I find it's actually more precise and faster in some situations to type it. And you can't use the S Pen on the front screen. If you could use the S Pen on the front screen, I think that would alleviate some of it, because then you could just go like this and it would be easier and you could be more precise, because instead of trying to use your digit and going like this, you could be doing it with the fine point precision of the S Pen. So I'm sure that's probably coming with the Z Fold 4, but we're here to talk about the Z Fold 3 today. So that right there, it's cumbersome when you try and type on it. It's very, very frustrating. And it was frustrating with the Fold 2. That's one of the reasons why I don't like using it very often. I would carry around the Fold as my secondary device, and that's what I'm doing now. I'm using the Z Flip 3 as my primary phone, and I'm using the Z Fold 3 as my secondary SIM device, because if you carry two phones, this may be just the best tandem tag team in the history of mankind. Some people may prefer to have an iPhone though, so I mean, if you carry two phones, you might as well have one from each operating system. But as much as I love the Z Flip, as far as the Z Fold 3, there are certain aspects about it that I love. I can appreciate it. I respect it. But ultimately, they really didn't make it any more ergonomic. And that was one of the biggest complaints with the Fold 2. I think the Fold 2 is a very good device. I mean, thankfully they went with the flat design on the paint instead of this glossy look. I mean, I do like that. That doesn't have much to do with the ergonomics. They changed up the camera a little bit. But they actually made it harder to open. And I didn't think that that was possible. So when you open up the Z Fold 2, there's actually like the little edge right here. So it's easier for you to grab onto with your finger. It's actually slightly easier to open than the Z Fold 3. The Z Fold 3, that corner, that little edge that you could grab that would give you some traction with your finger is not there. So a lot of times I'm like this. You kind of have to get your fingernail and then wedge it open. So ergonomically, I think it actually took a step back in practicality. But once you get it open and you start using it, it's nice. I do like and appreciate the smooth, softer edges as opposed to the more rigid ones on the Fold 2. It makes it more comfortable to carry and to hold for a long time, albeit slightly more difficult to open. It is nice using it in tablet mode, especially with the inclusion of the S Pen. I would say that I think that they should have included the S Pen with it, and I also think that there should be a compartment for it to go into. That would be nice too, because none of the cases that Samsung has put out that actually hold the S Pen are worth the money you should pay for them. They are all problematic. I've heard nothing but nightmares about them. The S Pen itself is very big. I do like not having to use the little tiny one that's on the Note, but I think there could be probably some compromise there. And then when you use it, it's fine. When you use this as a tablet, it's like the best of all things. And it's what I always wanted out of the Fold. I wanted it to have an S Pen, and as soon as they got the first Fold, it's like, this thing's cool. It needs an S Pen. When we got the Fold 2, this thing's even cooler. It needs an S Pen. Now it has it. It feels complete. From a productivity and a performance perspective, it is a really good phone. If you just look at it from a work product, if you just look at it as a multitasking device, if you just look at it as a cool, novel piece of technology, it checks all three of those boxes with like the highest marks. When it comes to normal consumerism and switching over from a regular phone and ergonomics and just carrying it around, it's bulky, it's heavy, it's clunky. It really needs some process refinement. I mean, they could have added like this little notch thing on the side, like when you need to open something, like just a little groove. I think that would have helped out a lot. But this turns some people off, and I've had quite a few people who are really excited about the Fold 3. I go back, I've made these videos, I get comments from people in the comment section. It's like, I took it back, I took it back, I took it back. I don't really know of more than 1 or 2 people that have said, I'm taking back the Z Flip. Everybody loves the Z Flip. Their concern is just the battery life. And there are concerns about the battery life on the Fold 3. Let me also tell you that. I'll discuss that in my full review. I'm not overly impressed with it. But when it comes to the actual phone itself, if you're a ride or die Fold and you love this, this is the best phone that you're ever going to get at all in like the next year till the next one comes out probably. But if you're on the fence, if you're using a regular phone, if these certain things that I'm talking about seem like they would be off-putting to you, they will be once you get it and you have it in your hand in reality. So I would highly encourage anybody that wants to get one of these phones, before you do it, go to your T-Mobile store, go to your AT&T store, go to your Best Buy, somewhere where they have it, and look at it in person. Looking at it in person is the best thing you can do to find out whether this phone is for you, whether you like it, and whether you're going to be happy with it when you order it. Because I got to tell you, there have been quite a few people that I've heard from that have been like, I really like it, I like the idea, but once I got it and started using it, it's just not for me. And some people are absolutely going to love this phone. I'm in both camps. There are things about it I don't like, but I like it enough I'm going to keep it, and the S Pen is a big, big thing for me. So that's cool. But for somebody who's a casual phone user and may not want to make the sacrifices, want to deal with the ergonomic stuff, carry around this big, bulky phone, there are some drawbacks, and that's why I made this video for you guys. So that's all I've got in this video. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down in the comment section. I'll get back with you. If you enjoy the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.